we're gonna go for, oh. Oh my gosh. Howdy and welcome everybody to an extremely special episode 26 of the 240SX2 JC swap. Today, we are finally dyno tuning this bad boy right here. Now before we head off to the tuner, let's ask my family what kind of power they think this thing is gonna put down. Hello sir, quick, how much power do you think the 240 is gonna make today?
624.
I like that, I like that. Oh, let's ask this fine man. What will the 240 make today, sir?
I'm confused why you even pulled out the old stock 4-cylinder. 130. 130 is ample.
More than enough, more than enough.
0. I don't want it to be any power because I don't want you to go fast.
Classic. How much power are we gonna make today? Excellent. Now that we've got that taken care of, let's hit the road. And I almost forgot. You should like and subscribe the video here if you're feeling zesty, of course. All right, guys, we just made it here to Evans Tuning. We're gonna go in and say hello and hopefully get this thing strapped down relatively soon. So that's what we're up to. You have people coming in here that are just as nervous, right? I hope I'm not the only one.
Yeah. I mean, it's nerve-wracking. I mean,
Yeah.
I do it day in, day out, so to me, it's just normal.
It's just normal.
Yeah.
So right now, Jeff is in the car updating the firmware for the Haltech from the ESP software, which is old, to the new is it NSP? Jeff? So the NSP software. So something that I probably should have looked into doing before we got here, but he's doing that right now. So we're just kind of in limbo until that gets all updated, and then I guess we're off to the tunes. It's very real now. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. Crazy loud. I don't know what's going on in there. I hope all good things, but he is like in the zone right now. So he's on the computer messing with a bunch of stuff. He's made about 4 or 5 pulls so far. No, he's just going to town. Okay, well, we are about 10 pulls in. The car sounds nice, it's loud, but I don't know exactly what is going on in there. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed all is well. I'm extremely nervous. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. That's where we're at right now, so. Here's an update. I just talked with Jeff. He turned the car off so that we could discuss some stuff. The car is looking very healthy. Right now, it is making 562 horsepower to the wheels, which is kind of the highest we want to go on pump gas because it's on 93, it's not on E85. So that's probably going to be about the horsepower that we're going to make for the day. The rev limiter is going to be set at 7,500 because it's making peak power at about 6,900 RPM. So it's pointless to go higher than that. Right now, he's doing a couple last pulls to set everything up. Let's see. He's also going to be configuring the high and low boost toggle switch that I have in the car to run a high and a low boost mode. And he's also going to set up launch control, which I think he's going to be doing shortly. And we're going to run through that together. but he's doing a really good job. He says the car is healthy, it's looking good, there's no boost creep, we have enough fuel, which is always a good thing, and I don't think the clutch is slipping. So right now, fingers crossed and knocking on wood, everything is looking okay, but that could change on a dime. But at this moment in time, we're looking good. I'm super stoked. The pulls sound insane. I've never heard that sound before of the wastegate opening, so very, very cool. Yeah, I'll update you in a bit. Okay, so we had our first problem of the day. Oil. We had oil. So the two-step got the dipstick so that it popped out of the oil pan because it's just O-ringed in there, and spilled, I want to say, like a quarter quart of oil all over the bottom of his shop floor. I'm gonna go see if the dipstick popped out again. Okay, it didn't pop out, but basically we're building a lot of crankcase pressure through the two-step and it blew the dipstick out. So I'm going to try to find some way to retain it in there because it's just in there, you know, held in place with the O-rings. Other than that, we're pretty much done the tune. We're gonna go for a quick drive after we get it off the dyno here. So we're gonna go for, oh my gosh. All right, so launch control is set up. We're having dipstick popping out of block problems, which is a problem because then we lose a bunch of oil, but the engine itself should be fine. He set up a bunch of protections, and one of those protections is low oil pressure cutoff. So if the oil pressure goes below a certain point, the engine should do some sort of cut to protect it, and that didn't happen when we lost the oil, and it wasn't a lot of oil, just enough to look scary on the floor. So anyway, as I was saying before, we're going to get this off the dyno at some point soon. We're going to go for a quick drive just to look into that bucking problem that was occurring back when we were doing like our e-tune stuff and our first initial drives, and then it should be done. So we have one thing that we need to work on, which is the dipstick stuff, but other than that, I'm absolutely stoked. Everything else looks really good. So yeah. All right guys, so the car, as you can see, is back home safe and sound. We drove it back under its own power, so that is always a good sign. But towards the end of the dyno day, we hit two, we'll call them minor problems. So what happened was, one, you guys already know about. The dipstick tube popped out of where it sits in the upper oil pan. So it's a Freed Engineering, it's an aftermarket oil dipstick, so it's not the stock one. Basically, it's kind of flexible. This dipstick's flexible, so what happened was, even though it's bracketed up at the intake manifold at the top of the dipstick, because it can flex, I guess so much pressure buildup happened in the crankcase that it pushed the dipstick out of the block there. It's just held in with two O-rings, so it just pushed it out, and that's why we had oil all over the dyno. We are pretty sure that basically that only happened because we kept two-step testing the car. He ran a lot of two-step in like a 10-minute window, and that's when I noticed the oil. So it probably happened from that. We're not quite sure, but definitely that's something that needs to be addressed. I need to design some sort of retainer for the bottom of the dipstick to hold it in place. So that's problem number one. The second problem happened actually when we were taking it off the dyno. One of the bolts, one of the studs for the rear wheels, it sheared off when he was undoing one of the bolts holding it to the hub dynos. So that was kind of a sketchy drive home. We drove home on 3 lugs on the one rear wheel instead of 4. Luckily, we're doing a 5 lug conversion along with all the suspension and brake stuff that's coming down the line. So it wasn't a huge problem, but it meant that we couldn't get on the car on the way home. So I don't really, I didn't get to drive it fast. I just drove it real slow, which is kind of disappointing because I really wanted to get on it. Like I said, it was, or I don't know if I told you guys, but yeah, it was super tempting on the way home because I just wanted to rip it so bad. Oh, yeah. So anyway, in terms of what problems could have happened on the dyno, those were like some of the best that could have happened. They're not major at all. The engine is still in one piece. No rods are, in the stratosphere. So that's always good. I'm just really happy that I was really stressed today going to the dyno and everything worked out. The car ended up making 575.4 wheel horsepower on a mainline dyno. So that is a healthy number. The tuner, Jeff Evans, said he didn't really want to go above that. He thinks this is a healthy number to have on pump gas. But for now, moving forward, now that the dyno day is done, the car is kind of finished in terms of drivability, it is time to move on to kind of like, I want to call it the next restoration. We're going to be tearing down the car once again to have a bunch of suspension and other drivability upgrades. So I want to say next on the list is the 5 lug conversion, so I can fit the new wheels and tires. I'll probably throw the coilovers on, and if I have enough time before the wedding, I will probably get the OS Geiken LSD differential installed, but I'm not too sure on that. So I kind of have to map out the next coming weeks to see, what I can accomplish. Because the car is going to be sitting for a while after the wedding. I'm not going to be too focused on this thing. So anyway, that's what's coming down the line. I would say it was a successful dyno day, all things considered. I'm really, really pleased with the numbers and the outcome, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in. So if you have any questions, please leave those below. I always love getting back to you guys. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay zesty. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.